Hello everybody, I'm Mario here, and I'm Luigi here. It's Luigi time. Yeah, I was meant to say, it's a Mario time. But anyway, and we are from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more Let's Play of Mario Kart Double Dash for the Nintendo GameCube. So I believe last time we have managed to win through the All Cup tour, and now we're about to be revisiting back to the previous cups again, except now we're about to be heading over to 100cc this time around. And that way we can able to actually go out for the challenge or something like that. So either way though, let's just skip this little demo sequence, and because of that though, we'll dive straight right into the forms of the next part of this Let's Play. Now, although, originally though, about the fact that we weren't going to be able to do a special event yesterday, but turns out though is the fact that we got screwed over by a copyright block. Now, because of that though, we have to use it on a different website. Sorry for a little bit of a ringtone right there, because Peach managed to able to message me about the fact that it's our birthday today. Yes, today's day is the forms of the 21st of 11th of October in 2020 today, and because of that though, we're about to be celebrating our birthday today. We are now 23rd today, so even then though, there are a few things worth mentioning before we get this thing started, and because of this though, we were originally, as I said earlier, we were going to do the presentation of the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic 10-year anniversary during yesterday, but sadly it's been blocked on YouTube, which I found is really strict. But we can at least try to able to do it on a different website, which appears to be Daily Motion. You know, if you're probably wondering what Daily Motion is all about, basically what this involves around is the fact that, well, you can able to actually just do the usual same thing, like uploading videos and stuff like that. Except the biggest difference is from there. Thankfully, I don't think that particular video website has been completely strict compared to the ones and how it does it in YouTube sometimes. Because of that, though, we'll hopefully try that again at some point or another. Although, it is up right now in Journey Forms of Daily Motion at this rate. So even then, if you want to check that out, then more power to you. Especially noticeable how the fact that this presentation might be pretty good. So yeah, anyway, enough about that. So let's get into the actual main topic in terms of today. That is, of course, well, our birthday discussion. Well, to be more specifically though, Luigi, is the fact that we are 23 years old. So because of that though, there are some presents that we actually did got during and around the same day. Because, you know, there's not much else we can talk about this. Actually, before we get into that though, right off the bat though, is the fact that unlike in 50cc, in terms of Luigi Circuit, as you can see, we no longer gonna have to deal with the forms of that particular barrier guardrail, as you can see right there, because it's now just simply just gonna go to, well, just the actual arrow signs that you have to follow. Starman! Yeah, I know that. Anyway, let's get to the main topic. The first present we actually got for today, and that was the forms of the one of the most highly anticipated games for the 2020 year. That's what appears to be buddy forms of, what else? Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. And if I've played it, it's actually pretty fun to play. Even though note that they do manage to able to contain two different playstyles. There is the classic mode and the modern play mode. And I think the noticeable difference between, let's just say the classic mode, it plays out pretty much exactly like the classic Crash Bandicoot games from the likes of the PlayStation days, like you get yourselves a life system. And then also, in Journey Forms of the modern style of play, basically you get infinite continues, or infinite lives, as far as I'm most likely concerned with that specific stuff. Even then though, we're probably not gonna go for modern play or anything like that, because either way though, we'll go for the challenge by going for classic play, because either way though, that's to be expected by this point, because modern mode is basically, it's like an easy mode. You know, it kind of reminds me of that particular funky mode from the likes of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for the Switch, and also new mode in let's just say in Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. So it kind of feels slightly similar to those games when you get like an easy mode or something, but either way though, that's to be expected by that point. So yeah, I'm very pleased that we're very pleased able to actually just get ourselves Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time on the PlayStation 4. So, I really don't know if they might able to do the Switch version eventually, though. I don't know, Luigi. Probably because of how the fact that because of the stupid pandemic is going on at the moment. So, but either way, though, we'll have to wait and see what happens. And during, let's just say, until next year. God dang it, we just got hit by that counterquack. Anyway, though, another present that we did got, speaking of Crash Bandicoot, we actually got ourselves Crash Bash. Despite the fact that it was not being made by Naughty Dog or something like that, unlike, you know, the Crash Bandicoot trilogy from the past, and especially noticeable with Crash Team Racing on the PlayStation 1. And because of that, though, it was being developed by Eurocom Entertainment Software. So, because of that, though, and also Crash Bash was a party game and not a platformer. And because of that, though, most people complain about the fact that it's the tedium overall. Meaning about the fact that you have to deal with the forms of a lot of, you know, the exact same minigames over and over and over again. And also the story mode progressioning is actually a bit tedious at times. But, nonetheless though, we're able to actually just find out for ourselves until whenever we're able to first time we're going to be playing that game. Because we definitely heard about that game before. Even though, ironically though, Mario, is the fact that that particular game came out the exact same year. Well, let's just say Crash Bash came out in 2000, which came out the same year as when Mario Party 3 came around in Japan, and also Sonic Shuffle for, let's just say, in America as well as Japan as well. Because unlike in our country in Europe, well, basically, that game will later release in 2001. So, because of that, though, it's one point example for the actual releases. So, we actually got ourselves about 3 different, you know, video game mascots in the actual party game during on that particular year. Which is kind of surprising because either way, though, it wasn't until in 2010 that Pac-Man got, well, let's just say the first ever Pac-Man party game they've got, and that was the forms of Pac-Man FIFA on the Nintendo GameCube as well as the PlayStation 2. However, though, we didn't seem to able to get that game everywhere else, only exclusive to America, which I have no idea why they've never released that everywhere else aside from America. So, but either way, though, something's worth noting for. And also they get themselves the second Pac-Man party game, which is of course Pac-Man Party on the Nintendo Wii, as well as this really awful port on the 3DS, which only contains is just, you know, lesser amount of content compared to the Wii version of the game. So, I'm sure most people already know what I'm talking about right here, so... Anyway, so now let's move on back to Dry Desert again. So yeah, we're very glad that we've actually got ourselves, Crash Bash. And, conveniently enough, we actually got all of the Crash Bandicoot games on the original PlayStation. So, that's nice, I suppose. Yeah, I know. Especially noticeable how the fact that we are, honestly, a really good fan in terms of Crash Bandicoot stuff. Because we definitely heard about the series before, but we never actually just tried one out during back in a long time ago because we were really into Mario and Sonic stuff. So, yeah, you'll probably get the idea of how this goes. And the next game we actually did got for today's birthday, and that's what appears to be Star Fox Command. In this case, the most controversial game in the entirety of the Star Fox series, next to Star Fox Zero for the Wii U, which, seriously, Nintendo, please port that onto the Nintendo Switch at some point, and hopefully trying to fix a lot of issues on the Wii U version of the game. Just do it. Yeah, because, you know, that was the only, well, let's just say between, you know, Star Fox Zero as well as the Legend of Zelda remasters, definitely need to be ported over to the Switch. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, until next year, the Legend of Zelda series will be having their 35th anniversary at some point next year, during specifically in February. So we really can't wait to see how that's going to turn out. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But when we did manage to play Star Fox Command, I found that game pretty alright. Even though it might not be the best in the series, just because, much like in the forms of how it does it in, let's just say, Shadow the Hedgehog, I think it's all mission-based. And also, because of that though, it does have multiple endings, which meaning about the fact that you have to replay for the entire stages over and over again in order to able to get the best endings. And I was like, what the hell, man. Although luckily though is the fact that it's going to be on a handheld, not on a console, thankfully. So because of that though, you can able to play on the go. So even though that might be a nice little way to able to do that. So, and another game we did picked up is, or the next game that we did got for our birthday, and that's what appears to be the ultimate game, Metroid Prime Trilogy for the Nintendo Wii. It might be seems pretty hard to get that game nowadays, unless if you're able to try to download it on the Wii U eShop version, which that'll be your alternative if you find it's a pretty good cheaper price. At least assuming it's all digital only. So because of that though, yeah, whenever we searching on eBay for you know, Metroid Prime Trilogy for the Wii, basically the pricing itself is getting super ridiculously high. Even especially noticeable, it's like, I would say it's much like in the forms of how it does it in Super Mario All-Stars on the Nintendo Wii back in 2010, and also recently Super Mario 3D All-Stars for the Nintendo Switch this year. It's gonna be a limited run. So either way though, that might be something is worth noting for the sake of clarity. So anyways, talking of which actually, is the fact that we've played the Wii enhanced versions of the Metroid Prime games all in one particular Wii disc. I found this, to me though, is the more definitive version of these three games. Even though Metroid Prime 3 Corruption already managed to able to got the exact same treatment as in the forms of the individual version of, you know, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. So because of that though, we're very glad to able to have that. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, again, it gets really tough and difficult to get nowadays. Especially noticeable how the fact that it's quite rare. Although not as rare as the forms of how it does it in, let's just say, Xenoblade Chronicles for the Nintendo Wii, but who needs the Wii version at this rate, because we now got the Switch version, which to me is more of a superior version of the game. Because, you know, what the heck? How did that come from? Gee, that particular green shell just managed to directly trying to able to aim right at that particular bomb cart. Yeah, as soon as we're able to try to drift away, so yeah, it's kind of weird. Anyway, as you can see, we're about to be now selecting Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong in this particular cup, so alright, so let's go ahead and use that particular blue spiny shell. And in fact, speaking of items actually, it's the fact that, relatively speaking, it's the fact that the blue spiny shell makes a comeback after the events of, well, let's just say Mario Kart 64, as well as Mario Kart Super Circuit, if I recall. Basically, much like always, is the fact that if you're trying to able to use it, you're obviously trying to aim for first place. In this case, well, if we manage to use the blue shell in, let's say in third place, then obviously you'll aim for first place. And that will become pretty stable in the future games. And also, much like in Mario Kart Double Dash, or well, Mario Kart DS, as well as Mario Kart Wii, the blue spiny shell actually got themselves wings. Although, unlike 7 and 8/8 Deluxe, usually, relatively speaking, they managed to able to actually deal without wings. I'm pretty sure in Mario Kart Live Home Circuit might able to do the exact same treatment or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, just because we haven't exactly researched upon, you know, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit for this throughout. So, yeah, anyway though. However, something worth mentioning for this point as well is the fact that Bravely Default gets its 8th anniversary with the special art. And because of that though, we might able to receive Bravely Default 2 news info at some point soon. Yeah, because we haven't exactly heard about that game since the Game of the Year, the Game Awards last year. So, might be a perfect opportunity until whenever we see what's anything new behind us in terms of, you know, Bravely Default 2. I'm sure most fans will be excited about that. But I digress. And another thing we did got for our birthday, and used to be by the forms of Tales Remastered for the PlayStation 3. Why? Because we just feel like we might as well get the physical version of DuckTales Remastered, because usually, relatively speaking, with DualShock 3 controller was actually super good in terms of 2D platformer and stuff like that, which we always attempt to go for it, and also just trying to able to actually just trying to go ahead and aim for our trophies as far as I'm concerned on our PlayStation Network and stuff like that. So, and yeah, if we've played it, it's actually very good, really cool. And also, I really love the presentation of that particular remaster of the original game. Well, to be more specifically, a reimagining version of the NES game. To be more specifically, back on the NES days. Oh my god, what is going on with Petey Piranha and King Boo? Although, to be fair though, Luigi, we'll talk more about that whenever we get on to, let's just say, in tomorrow's video, because either way though, this is still going to be uploaded during Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but this is the only part exception, because either way though, we like to discuss upon the forms of some parts worth noting for, so... Anyway though, another thing is worth mentioning for, especially noticeable that another thing that we did manage to go for this year's birthday, and that's what appears to be by the forms of 2 new DVDs, which inspires by, what else? Some James Bond films. And the first one of the bunch, it was actually by the forms of Live and Let Die, and because of, you know, the first ever Roger Moore film, and we're about to be able to collect all of the James Bond films. Well, the main ones most likely. I'm not gonna count Never Say Never Again because it's more likely like a spin-off or something. And similarly, the Casino Royale 1967 version, because I don't feel like counting that either. So yeah, because we're most likely trying to aim for the main ones specifically, because those are pretty much superior. So although it's kind of a shame that, as far as we have already established earlier, No Time to Die has been delayed, so that kind of sucks. Yeah, I know that. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, usually relatively speaking, is the fact that, well, you know, I don't know. I just get confused right now. And, another film we've got is the films of License to Kill, the most darkest James Bond films ever made, just because it actually contains even more violence and stuff like that. So, but honestly, I found that film pretty good. Well, usually despite the forms of some gore moments as here and there, but either way though, I'm pretty glad that we managed to get that at least. And I suppose mainly the final thing we actually got for this year's birthday, that's what appears to be by the forms of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie 2020, but this time around on the Blu-ray. I know it's kind of unnecessary, but aside from all that stuff though, that was the only film we only cared about for the sake of this stupid year. But regardless of everything else though, is the fact that, well, so far for the sake of this year anyway, that was the only film we've ever saw in this whole entire year. Only one film for this year, just because everything else in this year though, it just sucks. But then again though, we'll point things out later on when we get to the end of the year, as we already established earlier, so we don't have to repeat ourselves all over again, so we'll just gonna have to leave it to that. So anyway, so let's go ahead and just utilize some of these items here. Oh yeah, one thing I should probably mention is the fact that between, let's just say, you know how the fact that we've already selected Koopa and Paratrooper from the likes of the Mushroom Cup in 100cc, their special items is either the triple red shells or triple green shells. And as for Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, their special items is the giant banana peel, which thankfully that particular item makes a comeback during Mario Kart Tour. Speaking of Mario Kart Tour, we were originally trying to able to get back into that game, but despite the fact that we actually did manage to come across into ourselves the first anniversary of the release of Mario Kart Tour, well, usually for the sake of the actual tour itself, sadly though, we didn't get that much progression, because despite that we have to start all over again on our data, and also to top it all off though is the fact that we lose some of the stuff. And this also includes, yes, once again, since we still got ourselves our downgraded phone, which appears to be iPhone 6 original, this means, once again, there's going to be a lot of game crashes. And because of that though, we did manage to able to try out the brand new variation of New York Minute, which is of course New York Minute 3, and I was going to be super excited to able to racing onto that particular track, but unfortunately the game is like, oh, this is a bit too much, I'm just gonna have to make you get yourself quit out of here. or to be more specifically, just trying to let the game crash. And because of that though, that just always sickens me. And plus, because of that though, I noticed about the fact that with the upgraded phones, managed to did that a little bit better. But as far as old upgrades, as far as, you know, mobile phones are concerned, it doesn't do that much advanced tech or something like that. Which kind of does the same thing for our, you know, Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, despite the fact that we still got ourselves our downgraded phone, which is iPhone 6. Usually you can still able to actually set the game's frame rate, which is of course 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second. But for whatever reason, it just won't allow us to able to actually build up with the high quality. With the only option we only get is the low quality, which, because of that though, I just found it, kind of ugly sometimes. Which, that can be also say applies to Mario Kart Tour, and I'm pretty sorry for saying for this point, guys, we pretty much definitely gonna have to quit Mario Kart Tour, just because, well, with multiple game crashes that we've already always experienced, since we're for the first time playing the game since about a year ago, and because of that though, my first impressions is alright, but later on though, it gets really annoying, especially noticeable with multiple game crashes, and because of that though, we just give up. Like, we seriously just give up on Mario Kart Tour. Because of that though, hopefully though, thankfully though, that at least we got ourselves Mario Kart Live Home Circuit at least, but only Nintendo Switch. And also, it actually contains a special requirement to able to realize that, you know, we can able to actually just to set up a customizable layout tracks or something. So, yeah, I think that's as far as we can think about it. So, because of that though, yeah, let's talk about the films of the Sonic the Hedgehog 2020 movie. And I found that still that film to be quite enjoyable in my opinion, so definitely more likely my favorite film of this entire year. But everything else though is okay. I mean, nothing substantially special about it, and it's bad enough about the fact that the majority of the films have been delayed, most notably with, of course, as we established that before, No Time to Die, and also SpongeBob SquarePants Sponge on the Run, even though the Canada did manage to get the theatrical release of that particular stuff. And also, what else got delayed, I wonder? Oh yeah, I think that's as far as we can say about this. Although, apart from the fact that with My Little Pony Pony Life, especially noticeable for North America, they still have not got themselves the actual release date for that particular country, which I know because of how the fact that because of the stupid pandemic. But luckily for UK though, Luigi, since we lived in the UK, this means we managed to able to access to it though, but I still find that show to be okay, but not the best either, so, but that's just in my opinion. So anyways though, that's all we can say about this for the most part folks, so yeah, I guess we'll end things up here. So join us next time for more of Let's Play of Mario Kart Double Dash. We'll be heading over to Star Cup and Special Cup in 100cc, so see you then. Later fellas.